Just about everybody knows that this year the Genomes are filling in for a new team that's jumping in the Atlantic League because in 2023, the Atlantic League is heading to Hagerstown, Maryland. But wait, there's not going to be a stadium in Hagerstown, Maryland in 2023. Now what? Welcome back to ALPB Roundup. I'm Ryan. I'm here. We're talking about a little something different. We're literally at a different angle today because we're taking things from a different angle. No editing, just off the cuff, because there's something that needs to be talked about in the Atlantic League, and it's a little weird. It's a little, I don't know. I don't think it's uncomfortable. Maybe other people think it's uncomfortable because no one's been talking about it. So sometimes, when no one talks about something, you're like, is this supposed to be a secret? I don't know. But here's what's going on. If you haven't been paying attention, the current situation is two teams play at Wild Health Field in Lexington. The Lexington Legends, obviously, but also the Wild Health Genomes. The Wild Health Genomes are supposed to be a one-year team that shares the ballpark for one season, and then in 2023, a new ballpark in Hagerstown, Maryland will be completed as they get rid of their old ballpark, and that will be the 10th Atlantic League team. The Genomes just filling in on the schedule for that 10th spot to keep things even with the schedule. However, things that haven't been said by the league, but have been openly talked about in Hagerstown City Council. Yeah, I'm deep in it. I'm talking City Council notes. I'm talking about Hagerstown local news, Hagerstown Google alerts to my phone. Openly reported on, not even like it's a scandalous thing, just as a fact of life. The Hagerstown Stadium that they're building won't be ready until 2024. Construction delays, of course, have messed that up. The pandemic and the fact that we build our economy like a house of cards essentially has slowed that down from 2023 to 2024, and they're not even seeming to aim for 2023 at this point. But that leaves the Atlantic League in a very interesting spot. So let's talk about the options they have here. First of all, could they use the old stadium in Hagerstown, Municipal Stadium? Now, Municipal Stadium was, bad enough that minor league baseball said, thank you, but no thank you. We're heading out of here. We will not be utilizing your ballpark anymore. And it was, by all accounts, a pretty old, pretty rundown stadium that had a lack of funding, it sounds like. But the problem is that stadium has already started the demolition process. The seats have been removed, they've been auctioned off, they've been taken out. They're ready to go on that one. So that would require quite a bit of work. And I know from working in baseball just how much stadium seats are. So even if that's the only thing that needs to be done, which it's not, I'm sure the field needs work, the walls need work, I'm sure the concessions, the infrastructure, all that, which hasn't been used in now quite a while, needs work and money. But even if it was just seats, that is far more expensive than you would think. So that's out. And again, there is no new ballpark in Hagerstown. So that's out as well. So what are some of the other options? Option one you would think would be, season 2 of the Genomes, no problem. But here's something I know from working in Lexington with the league. It ain't going well with the Genomes. Beyond the fact that the field can't hold up, and it is an artificial field, by the way, but you'll notice, 2-3 games now have been affected by the fact that the mound is breaking and wearing down. That's not going to be an option for many other reasons, however. There is no demand in Lexington for 2 baseball teams. There was barely a demand for 1, and it would take quite a bit of marketing to make it a demand for 2, and that marketing has just not been done. So in the end, reported attendance could be 23-something, but I know the third Genomes home game, there was 83 people sitting in the stands. I don't know if they were hiding 2,000 people in luxury suites there, but the attendance isn't there, the income is not there, the money from concessions is not there. With that, there's also the evidence of plenty of layoffs. Hi, what's up? And what I also know to be at least several late payments on bills, either having been made or not being made yet. So things are getting tight already financially, and it is just early June in Lexington. So the model of 2 teams does not appear to be working, and I don't see the Lexington ownership group wanting to do this again, or any other team in the league who's watching this wanting to get involved again, because nobody really has that secure of a base. Charleston, right now, I'm kind of impressed by their fan base, but I don't see them wanting to expand or muddy the brand like that. So I don't think that's very likely for the year 2023. Now, looking at the Road Warriors, which is, if you don't know, a traveling team that the league has had in the past for maybe 5 or 6, 7, something like that seasons, there's some issues with the concept of having a traveling team. One, it is a very competitive environment right now in Indy ball. American Association was just tweeting about being the top indie ball league, which is something. It's important. It affects the way the fans think of the league and affects the way the players think of the league who you're trying to sign. So it's important to be that top league. A travel team does not help that for multiple reasons. One, it seems kind of amateur and kiddie. It also is not a good team. It weakens the whole league schedule. It makes things sort of tough to read. Like, if you beat up on one of these teams that isn't very good, well then, what does that do for your stats? We just saw what happened where the offense was off the charts in the Atlantic League, but because of weird rules, affiliated teams didn't really know what to make of it, so they weren't signing Atlantic League hitters because, what do these stats even mean? A little bit can throw things off quite a lot. So these teams are bad. There's no way around it. The Road Warriors last time in 2018 went 29-97, and they're getting worse every year that they're in the Atlantic League, and it's for multiple reasons. The talent level is going up around indie ball, and basically the worst players end up being the ones who get stuck traveling. There's also more teams to play for, so there's more teams getting their pick of players before you have to start, being like, fine, I'll go play on the travel team. Last year in the American Association, the Houston Apollos went 17-83. Right now, the Empire State Grays and the Frontier League are 0-22. It's not a good option. So what other options are there? Are there other towns? There's been rumors of a Frontier League city, maybe like Florence, trying to switch in, but the Frontier League doesn't want to let go of them. The Frontier League, the only thing they're really offering is like the New Jersey Jackals, and nobody wants that. Sorry, that's damn near a travel situation because they're playing on. The Atlantic League has some specifics they look for. They're not going to want to play on a college campus, which is what the New Jersey Jackals do. There are plenty of issues with that. Maybe for 1 year, sure, it's okay, but I don't see that move being super likely. Now, the Atlantic League has looked into some markets like Hudson Valley, but there's new ownership there that just took over in December. There's a lot of the teams are within the footprint are already in leagues that they're happy with, or, they wouldn't want a 1 year agreement, which means now the Atlantic League has to search for a 12th team to add in once Hagerstown becomes the 11th team in the league. So it gets really messy really quick. Teams like Pulaski in Virginia and some other Appy teams I know haven't been happy playing the Appalachian League. Maybe that could free up, but they need the financials to get in the league, which to get in the Atlantic League costs at least $2-3 million, it sounds like these days. The Jackson, formerly known as Jackson Generals, I guess, they're a messy ownership group, so I doubt that they can get their financials together and organized to join the Atlantic League. I know they're supposed to be playing one of those college leagues. Trenton is another one, but Trenton is very anti-Atlantic League just because they're closed-minded, and honestly, if they were any good at running a team, they would know that they would have been able to keep the Yankees in Jersey for their team instead of having to take off for Somerset. Sorry, it is what it is. Like, how are you going to lose the Yankees in town? You're obviously terrible at what you do. And then, there are options like Lowell and Salem have a weird thing of like Boston has promised Lowell or hinted that they want to go back to Lowell, which would leave Salem probably holding the bag, but they still have an agreement with Salem. And I have heard Salem's finances maybe aren't that great for supporting an Atlantic League team. So there's a lot of messes no matter where you go. And if it comes to expansion, if we're looking at markets without a team currently, whether they have a stadium or not, they need to start that work ASAP because we're seeing with Hagerstown how long it can take to get things fixed up and ready to go. All of this is to say, it's something to watch. The Atlantic League is in a very messy scenario. Whether it's the business garbage fire happening in Lexington right now, or whether it's the massive question marks and construction delays around Hagerstown, or if it's, even the fact that it's taking Gastonia a little bit to get rolling. We see how hard it is for a team to succeed in their first year in the Atlantic League, whether it's explaining who they are, like who the Atlantic League is, or, just getting a team that can compete in this league. There's a lot of challenges for a first-year team, so not many teams want to sign up for 1 year in the Atlantic League, it might seem. It's going to be something very interesting to watch. I don't have any answers right now, but it'll definitely be something we track, and maybe we'll do some fun videos looking at possible markets for 2023, because I will tell you this, it is highly, highly unlikely that you see the Atlantic League running out a second Genomes team or a team in Hagerstown next year. We'll keep an eye on that. Until then, keep it locked in for daily roundups and more Atlantic League news here on the Atlantic League Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube account. Until next time, I'm Ryan. Y'all have a good one.
I may not have a lot, but I love what I got. A 4x4 and a good fishing spot. I hope this time my card won't decline.